Hey everybody. So today we're going to talk about shoes. And if you're running your first race with me in Atlanta and wondering if you need any special gear, I would tell you to invest in a good pair of trail shoes. So here's a quick primer on what I've learned, and the rest is really up to you because there are as many great shoes out there as there are races in a year. It's just kind of finding a matter of what works for you. So first of all, why trail shoes? So this is your average, just kind of regular street tennis shoe, workout shoe, sneaker that you would find. There's a couple problems with these for racing. One is the bottom. If you look at that side profile, there's really nothing there that's going to help you grip. And when you're running through mud, you're climbing wet walls, you're climbing wet ropes, grip is really your friend. So if you look at this compared to the bottom of a good trail shoe, you'll notice the difference. Very smooth. You got ridges here that are going to help you grip. So that's the first thing. Second of all, I would say if you look at a street shoe from the top, you have this little piece here that kind of sticks out farther than your shoe, where most of your good trail shoes will not have that. You can see that the top of the shoe is flush with the sole. And the problem with that is if you're doing things like a Z-wall and you have your foot like this, and you've got that and you're trying to grip the side of that, basically a 2x4 profile, you're going to find that this is really the only thing that is on the wall, and that's really hard for you to have any kind of foot control because essentially your foot isn't even on the wall or the step that you're working on. So if you have something like this, you're going to be able to stay in really nice and tight to the wall, and that's going to help you with your control. So the other really important thing to look at when you're trying on shoes, of course, is the drop. And that is really just a very simple concept of the difference between the front of the shoe and the back of the shoe in millimeters. So this is an 11 millimeter drop. What that means is this part of the shoe where your toe is 11 millimeters lower than this part of the shoe where your heel is. So pretty simple. If you are a heel striker or you're not used to wearing low drop shoes, you might want to try something like the Salomon Speed Cross. These I think have a 9 millimeter drop, so a little bit easier for you if you're just transitioning into a low drop shoe to try something like this. These come with this little speed lace, so they're easy to tie. A lot of people say they don't drain as well. I've never really had a huge drainage problem with them. They do stay wet. I'm not advanced enough to know the difference. When my shoes get wet, my shoes are wet, so I don't really feel the difference between a heavier shoe and a lighter shoe, but I know a lot of people do, so keep that in mind. This is the Icebug Zeal. These are a good shoe, especially if you have a narrow foot. If you look at the difference between the front of these and the front of these, you can see how the profile on these is a lot more narrow, so that might be more comfortable for you. These tend to have a little bit higher arch too, and these are I think 6 millimeter drop. So when you look at websites for shoes, all this information will be listed there. So it's not real low. It's not like a 0 drop or a 3 millimeter. There is some differential there between the front and the back. These are really great because they have these little tiny nubs in the center. So when you're climbing a rope, these really help you grip that rope if you're doing, especially if you do like an S-hook climbing technique, which we can talk about in another clip. The problem with these is they are a little bit too long for me. So when I tried to scale an 8-foot wall, I found that, again, just like the problem with these street shoes with this piece that sticks out on a Z-wall, the problem with these is if they're too long for you, or any shoe is too long for you, then the front of your foot is going to bend, and it's just going to be the shoe that has purchase. And you'll see in this clip of me climbing a wall that I had to end up grabbing the side of the wall, which you do not want to do when you're racing. So you take a quick look at that. So you can see there how I had to climb, grabbing the side of that wall. and going over. So these are my Innovates. This is the X-Talon 212. This is really my favorite shoe. Again, it really depends on you. There's a lot of different shoes out there for a lot of different preferences, but these just really fit my foot well. There's room for my toes to splay when I'm running, and they just, fit really good. And you'll see the difference when I'm climbing the wall wearing these, how I'm able to just step on the spreader and reach right up and grab the top of the wall, as opposed to having to grab the side, because with these and the good fit at the top, it's actually my toe that's on that spreader, so I have a little bit more control. So the other challenge you'll find when buying shoes is that you're probably not going to find them at your local shoe store unless you happen to live in a big city or near one. It's just not something that a lot of stores carry, and you're probably going to have to go to a specialty running store where you might find a selection of them. So what I would say there is go in, try on at least the brand of shoe. If you find one that you think is really comfortable, ask that shoe store if they can get them for you. If they can't get them for you, then at least you know sort of what size you want to go online and order. There's tons of online stores that carry this kind of shoe. So that's basically a basic shoe primer. If you have any questions, as usual, just let me know, and we'll see you out on the race course.